Historian and author Phillipa Gregory, known most for The Other Boleyn Girl, often writes about a lesser-known Englishwoman. In her newest book, The Lady of the Rivers, the New York best-selling author writes about Jacquetta, a member of the royal family preceding the Tudors. Our own Becky Anderson sits down with Gregory to talk about her historical romance novel in this week's edition of Authors Revealed.
Welcome to Authors Revealed. I'm Becky Anderson. I'm so excited. One of my favorite historical novelists is here. It's Phillipa Gregory with her new book, The Lady of the Rivers.
This book, The Lady of the Rivers, is about Jacquetta, Duchess of Bedford, and she was the mother of Elizabeth Woodville, who is a heroine of the White Queen. Right. So when I was writing about Elizabeth, of course I encountered the character of her mother, and that made me really want to know more about her and about her early life. And then there's no history of her at all, there's no biography. Yeah. I had to go right back to documents and old histories and find these tiny references to her and just track it down.
So why is she so important to the history of what happened to the Lancasters and the Yorks and the two families?
They called it the Cousins' War at the time. Victorian historians renamed it the Wars of the Roses.
Right.
Fundamentally, it's a civil war. It's a war of conflict as to who's going to be King of England. And as with all civil wars, you get these very, very divisive decisions that people have to join one side or another. And in Jacquetta, you see someone who is absolutely the first lady in waiting to the Lancaster Queen, Margaret of Anjou, and whose family is absolutely defeated when their house is defeated at the Battle of Towton. They retreat to the country. I'm sure they keep their heads down and don't say anything very much while the new king comes to the throne. Yeah. And then, amazingly, Elizabeth Woodville meets Edward IV. They fall in love very rapidly. They're married within 6 weeks of their meeting. And Jacquetta, her mother, is the witness at the wedding. So then she becomes the first lady in waiting for the House of York. So you see the regime change very, very powerfully in her life. I think she's also interesting as a medieval woman. So when we find out about her and her multiple births, she has 16 babies.
16.
And she gets most of them to adulthood. So she's a really formidable woman, and she's got this very strong physique. Right. And finally, I think she's really, really interesting because she is a founding mother of the Tudor line, because her daughter goes on to marry Henry VII. And so you realise that in the Tudor line, which we always think of as absolutely quintessentially English, you've got this very exotic, spiritual, Melusina, the water goddess, strain coming into this family, who are highly European, Roman Catholic, committedly Roman Catholic, Renaissance people, quite unlike what the Tudors were. And so you have to say in Henry VIII, her grandson, and in Elizabeth I, her great-granddaughter, you have this extraordinary dynastic inheritance that we as historians have never considered.
What a great conversation with best-selling author Phillipa Gregory about her new book, Lady of the Rivers. Back to you, Jen.
Thanks, Becky. If you're interested in the full interview with Phillipa Gregory, visit our website at nctv17.com for a list of times.